long people.
Hello.
Hello, Your Holiness.
In these difficult times where fear and hatred dominate the world and villages, cities, and countries have shut down their borders, it is imperative to allow for the free flow of knowledge and scientific information. It is with this intent that JLF's Brave New World was born 11 weeks ago and has since been viewed over 1 million times. Today, we are honored to present the Seed of Compassion with His Holiness the Dalai Lama in conversation with Bhikkhu Iyer. His Holiness speaks of finding love and peace in our confused, divided and chaotic world, and of the universal value of compassion in these troubled times. His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama describes himself as a simple Buddhist monk. He is the spiritual leader of Tibet. His Holiness is a man of peace, and in 1989 he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his non-violent struggle for the liberation of Tibet. He has consistently advocated policies of non-violence even in the face of extreme aggression. Bhikkhu Iyer is the author of more than a dozen books translated into 23 languages. His latest work is a new book in Japan titled Autumn Light, followed by a beginner's guide to Japan, and this could be home, set to be published shortly. Please do remember to comment and ask questions by typing it in the comment section. And in case any of you drop off due to bandwidth issues, you can find us on your YouTube channel, Jaipur Litfest JLF, or of course on His Holiness's channel. Ladies and gentlemen, the Seed of Compassion, His Holiness the Dalai Lama in conversation with Bhikkhu Iyer.
Your Holiness, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. How have you been these last few months? Has your health been good?
Oh, yeah. I think you should check my face.
You look very healthy.
Oh, very healthy, and my voice quite strong.
Yes, yes.
All these, I believe, because of India's, how to say, the tradition, karuna and ahimsa. So these 1,000-year-old India's tradition really, you see, it gives me self-confidence and inner strength. As if, so result of practice of, or say, the karuna, wherever I go, I always say, feel we are same human being. Now scientists also say, we human being, social animal. Any social animal, by nature, there is a sense of concern of the community. So we human being, social animal. So from birth, you see, immediately, you see, feeling, that's a closeness feeling with surrounding people. So now today, in ancient time, of course, community, limited community, its own villages or neighbor, few neighbors like that. Now today, the reality, the global economy, no national boundary. Whole world, east, west, south, north, whole world is actually one community. Then now, particularly now, today, you see, we also, you see, facing global warming. So, time come, we have to think about 7 billion human beings as a human community. So I practice this and also share more people. So I always wherever I go, I always feel we are same brothers, sisters, like that. So it is very, very useful. India's karuna and ahimsa.
So the last 4 months, you've mostly been alone, I think. How do you develop and practice karuna and ahimsa? Are there specific practices that others of us could try to develop that?
Karsa. Ningji. Now, recent month, now because of the illness, some kind of
pandemic.
No? So this problem. So the concerned people, asked me I should not meet people, except this like television. So I have holiday, and my daily prayer, at least 4 hours meditation. As soon as I wake up, I meditate karuna. And then ahimsa, I think very close link about ahimsa is the ubaya side karuna, wisdom side, the concept of patita samupad, or the technical the word shunyata. There is no independent self. So anger, jealousy, all these very much based on strong feeling of I, self. So the concept selflessness, that reduce the very basis of destructive emotion. Now, according to quantum physics also, now there is big differences, appearance and reality. Appearance, everything, independently exists there. The reality, if we go deeper, then it is not like appears. Deeper level, something different. So most destructive emotion, based on appearances. So the deeper level, shunyata, nothing independently exists. Nothing exists as appears. That understanding reduces the basis of all negative emotion. Negative emotion, on the basis of appearances, good thing there independently, bad thing there independently. With that feeling, then anger, attachment, these things happen. So that's Buddhist philosophy very clearly mentioned. And now my Indian friend, late Kasa, Rajaramana. So he once told me, quantum physics in the West, something new. In this country, 2,500 years ago, already developed. It is very true. So quantum physics theory and the Nagarjuna's sort of theory, quite similar. I practice that daily, very seriously. As soon as I wake up, I just think, where is I, where is self? You can't find. So feeling of self, that at the basis of anger, attachment, fear. So that feeling reduce, all these negative emotion automatically reduce. The positive emotion, such as karuna, these are based on reason, not on the basis of appearance, but deeper level. So therefore, it is quite, it is, I don't know, it is good, you see, all negative emotion based on appearances, which is not true. All karuna, or like all these positive emotion, not based on that. So you see, through reasoning, you can increase karuna. So India, 3,000 years already concept of karuna, and for that, shamatha, vipassana, you see, method training our mind already developed in this country. So these very, very useful for me, very useful. When wake up morning, I just start thinking, where is self? Where is I? Where is Dalai No. Mere sort of also they designated. Otherwise, nothing pinpoint. Besides this body, mind, where is I? Where is self? That is Buddhist concept of anathema theory. Anathema, selflessness, like that. So these are very useful in order to tackle our emotion. So emotion is the actually destroyer of peace of mind, and eventually destroy your own physical health. So I have some special medicine in order to keep healthy body through healthy mind with this philosophy. And plus, each night, 9 hours sleep. One time in East India, I think 3-4 years ago, when I was there, one Indian politician, also there, one politician, BJP politician there. So within a few days, we become very close friend. So then one morning, when we met, he asked me about my rest or sleep. And I told him, no problem. I always 9 hours sleep, then 4 hours meditation. Through that way, sharpening my mind, so I can easily cheating other people. then his sort of immediate sort of response, very nice. He only 6 hours sleep. He cannot cheat other people. So sleep also important, isn't it?
Yes.
And I think quite deep sleep, so not much dreaming. Short period, some dream. This morning, so about, I usually used to get up 3:30 morning. And about 3, just short sleep, some dream, see some deities, some kind of blessing here, Om, Ah, Hum, like that. So it is good. It is good. Whether you see these are the realistically effect or not, mentally, emotionally, very helpful. So all these knowledge come from India. So these days, I emphasize the India should revive 1,000-year-old India's tradition about mind, about the inner world, the modern education. You see, much sort of oriented about material value, and including physical. The existing modern education never mentioned about our mind or about our emotion and how to tackle these destructive emotion. So now India, I think India is the only nation who can combine ancient Indian knowledge about the inner world, about emotion, and combine with modern education. Then I think India really can help humanity besides material development and proper development of inner world. So real world peace must sort of develop inner peace. With anger, with jealousy, with too much sort of self-centered sort of attitude, peace, not very difficult to achieve. Now today we can see. So therefore, the India's tradition, I think, have great potential to make contribution for world to develop peaceful, compassionate world.
Now, I know Your Holiness is very concerned with education, and you speak about educating the heart for young children.
Right.
That's something different from training the mind, is it? What exactly is educating the heart?
They see warm-heartedness not through prayer, not through just belief, no. Fully utilize human intelligence. So we want healthy body, happy person, and including also healthy sleep. So in these related with our mind, our emotion. So more detailed sort of knowledge about mind. Usually people, when we say consciousness or mind, only sensorial consciousness. Now the anger, attachment, fear, these come from sixth mind, chit. So in order to tackle these things, you should study more about the whole system of chit. Mind, main mind. So the way to, I'll say, training or way to deal with mind, only human wisdom. Analyze, thinking, analyze. What kind of a mind or emotion is useful? What kind of emotion harmful? Make clear. Then all positive emotion, negative emotion, you see, based on its own causes. So in order to deal these different emotions, we have to think deeper level, what are the causes of anger, what are the causes of compassion. Then think more seriously about the deeper level of causes of these emotions. Then try to make effort. The sources of positive emotion increase. the sources of destructive emotion with knowledge, then can reduce. So the human brain, very important, not just pray or close eye, not much thinking, not that way. Fully utilize human intelligence and combine with our own experiences. Then through that way, we can change our emotion gradually. Positive emotion increase, destructive emotion can reduce. So that's my main practice. So all these come from India's knowledge. So now, as I mentioned earlier, India, I feel a great potential to make a contribution, the healthy mind through education. Western civilization completely lacking, and other major religious tradition, wonderful, but mainly based on faith. India's tradition, and particularly I think India's concept, secular, not based on religious faith, but utilize human intelligence. Now that I feel great potential through education, to train humanity. So now, you may already know, I have 4 commitments. Number 1 commitment, I am human being. I am one of the 7 billion human beings. As I mentioned earlier, human being, because social animal, basic nature is compassion. Therefore, without touching religion, simply scientific sort of research and try to promote warm-heartedness. This is my number 1 commitment. Number 2 commitment, religious harmony. It is unthinkable. Conflict, killing in the name of religion, unthinkable. All religion, in spite of different philosophy, all teach us loving kindness, forgiveness, tolerance. So, religious harmony, very important. It is very possible. Look, India, over 1,000 years, you see different religious tradition there. At the intellectual level, scholar level, is sometimes debate, but almost none physical action. So now here in India, all major world religious traditions live together. So India is the example. Religious harmony is possible. Besides India's homegrown religion, from outside, Zoroastrianism, Christianity, then Judaism and Islam, all these come from outside but settle here very well, no problem. So India, most populated 2 nations, one China, one India. So now India, most populated democratic country, religious harmony over 1,000 years there. So it is possible. So I try to promote religious harmony. Then my 3rd commitment is about Tibet. I'm Tibetan, so Tibetan people trust me. So I have moral responsibility. However, the political matter, about 2001, I already retired political matter. We here small refugee community, Tibetan refugee community, we develop democratic system, democratic practice. So we already have elected political leadership. You see, he carry the political matter. I already retired, and not only myself retired, but in future, in case Dalai Lama institution still remain, then Dalai Lama in future, no political sort of responsibility. So I always was fond to say Buddhist monk, like that. So now regarding Tibet, number one, Tibetan ecology. Tibet, usually see people call roof of the world. It is true. All major rivers, you see, come from Tibet, in Sindh, Pakistan, and then Ganga, then Brahmaputra, and then Mekong River, then a Yellow River, all come from Tibet. So these rivers cover whole Asia. Of course, Japan, these are something different. Otherwise, China, Yellow River, Vietnam, Mekong River, like that. So, taking care about ecology in Tibet, I feel very important. And we must pay more attention to preserve these rivers. Now, within my lifetime, you see, the snowfall, decade by decade, much reduced. Even Dharamsala, also here, when 1960 I came here, you see, that winter, lot of snow. Then each year, less and less and less. So now, global warming is because of global warming. Global warming is a very serious matter. So I often, you see, express preserve ecology in Tibet. And then most important is Tibetan knowledge. 8th century, Shanta Rakshita invited by Tibetan emperor. Since I think 7th century, Tibet already paying more attention about Buddha Dharma. Then 8th century, the Tibetan emperor Trisung Teze, he realized study is important. Therefore, in Buddhist tradition, in Buddhist tradition, the Pali tradition, Sanskrit tradition, and he developed interest about Sanskrit tradition. That's Nalanda. So he invited, at that time, the top master of Nalanda institution. That's Shanta Rakshita. He himself, great logician, great philosopher. He introduced Buddhism according Nalanda tradition. So we Tibetan, you see, follow his advice sincerely over 1,000 years till today. So I think I may say, you see, the Nalanda tradition, very sophisticated, logical philosophy like that. And with that, Tibetan sharp mind, very good. So we kept all these Nalanda tradition. You see, we not just read, you see, a few occasions. No, the root text memorize, learn by heart. Myself, 6-7-year-old, already started memorizing these root text. then each word explained according commentary wrote by Nalendra Master, and of course Tibetan masters commentary also there. We study. Then the important is we utilize debate or logical approach, debate. So, according to that tradition, as I think Buddha himself advised us, "O my follower, should not accept my teaching out of faith, but rather thorough investigation." The Buddha himself, expressed to us. So Nalendra Master exactly followed that. So even one Buddha's own sort of word, we raise question, why? Investigate. We never say, oh, since this is Buddha said, we must be true. No. So we utilize human intelligence maximum way. That's through debate like that. So I train through that way. And correct. So I think I can say there are many Buddhist countries in Asia, but Buddhist tradition with a logical approach, I think available only Tibetan tradition. And in ancient time, in the past, Mongolia. But Mongolia, I say, a lot of difficulties. Then we only Tibetan, we kept all these tradition, Nalendra tradition. So now I realize, meeting with people, with Buddhist brothers, sisters, the Nalendra tradition is very, very useful. In Chinese, historically, follower of Nalendra, like Tangsen, come to Nalendra, study, Shunzang. But you see, in Chinese Buddhist tradition, they prefer more meditation, not study. So, they like, important logical text, a text of logic, the Dignak's text, then, or Dharmakiddi, their text, not translated in Chinese language. We Tibetan, all these, translated into Tibetan, and one Tibetan master himself, wrote logical sort of, he wrote a book about logic. So now, Tibetan tradition, fully utilize logical approach. So therefore, our mind never sort of blind faith, investigation. So after I came to India, then gradually we develop discussion or meeting with scientists. So with scientists, about 4, I think, subjects, cosmology, neurobiology, and then psychology, then physics. Then physics. So since our sort of tradition, logical approach, always investigate, reason, so we can, as a common method, scientists also, always investigate. So now, as a result, our meeting with modern scientists, it became very clear, mutual learning, very good. number of scientists now really, you see, appreciate our logical approach, our way of thinking, like that. So recently, one occasion in Japan, so one meeting with Japanese Buddhists, I told them, it's a meditation, very important, but study and a logical approach, very important. So I express, I hope, and some of these Japanese Buddhist monastery now should use as a sort of classroom, study, I told. So that I feel we Tibetan kept all this knowledge. There is real potential. We can make certain significant contribution for humanity's mind, emotion. So my main soul, regarding Tibet, I try to preserve this knowledge. And then sometimes I jokingly telling, ancient time, you Indian, our guru, we are Chela. In modern time, opposite. Ancient our guru now become Chela. The ancient Chela, we Tibetan, now looks become guru. So now I really enjoy become refugee, stay in India. Traditionally, we consider India is Arya Bhumi, land of sacred or something. Tibetan, of course, there are some Muslims also, but mainly Buddhist. So they once a lifetime, because of what? Once a life, you see, visit Bodh Gaya, like Muslim Mecca. So every Tibetan is always feel once pilgrimage to Bodh Gaya, they feel now fulfill their life. So now we become refugee. So every year can go Bodh Gaya. So, and then most important is India's freedom. I love Chinese culture and many Chinese Buddhists, wonderful. But the system, political system, no freedom of speech. In this country, freedom. So I utilize India's freedom. As a refugee, in a way, unfortunate, in a way, much better opportunity to share over 1,000 years, which we kept all the Nalanda tradition, Indian tradition. So I myself, if I gather with top scholars, then my knowledge very limited. But among the ignorant people, my knowledge quite good. So I can utilize about my limited knowledge. And my advantage is I can speak Buddhist philosophy combination with modern science, like that. So in bigger Tibetan monastic institution, which we re-established in South India, now in their class, one subject, science, also we introduce. So in one big monastery in South India, you see, they created their own sort of the science research class, or like that. So I feel very, very fortunate. We stay in this country, utilize fully India's freedom, and then on top of that, I feel great honor. I'm longest guest of Indian government.